Just over a week away, and yet we're still talking about the quarterback shuffle at the top. Todd McShay tossed in a wrinkle yesterday. He said the Niners should draft Trey Lance at 3 over Mac Jones or Justin Fields. Thinks Lance has the highest ceiling after Trevor and Zach Wilson. Look, we all know the knock on Lance. Hasn't played a whole lot of games, just 17 starts in his college career, and just one last season. So we start with you, Brandon. Say you were a general manager. If you're a GM, would you be more excited about Lance's potential or worried about the unknowns?
Yeah, potential all day. When you're the general manager, you're the boss, you're the CEO, you run the whole deal. That means you're going out there, you're building your team, you're building out your staff. So if I am a general manager, then that means I went and got a Sean McVay, I went and got a Kyle Shanahan, a Kevin Stefanski, a coach that I know that's going to take this talent and develop him. We don't do that in the National Football League anymore. We don't even do that in college football anymore. Like, we see the talent. He can make all the throws on the field. He can move. He's mobile. He can get outside the pocket and make plays. He can extend plays. He has the talent. And then from what I'm hearing, all right, is that this kid has the what? The IQ. High football IQ. Go back to his days, they were impressed when he came on campus, and they said, you know, his ability to process quickly was the thing that jumped out to him. So that told me everything. So if this kid has the total package, then that means I have to bring him in a situation where he can have time to develop. I don't know if that's half a year, like Jay Cutler, when Mike Shanahan, Coach Mike Shanahan drafted Jay Cutler in 06, and we had Jake the Snake Plummer at quarterback, and right around week 7, they said, all right, Jay, you are ready. I don't know if it's a year. We don't know. But you need to have a coach who understands the quarterback position, who understands how to develop guys, because he has the talent. We're talking about the downside. What is the downside? You know, Nick went through these stats a couple of weeks ago where he went through like the last 200 and something quarterbacks, and only like 3 were successful. We're talking about Lamar Jackson, a couple other guys that are still in the National Football League or did something. So I am going with potential here, Joy, because the kid has it. He passed the test, the eye test, and then also he passed the test on the board. From what I'm hearing, this dude has the ability to process, and he understands offense. He understands football.
Yeah, I'm hearing all the same things. He's a high character guy, high IQ guy. What I don't understand about Trey Lance is he has the same amount of starts as Mac Jones. So if we're worried about, you know, what we see on tape, they have the same amount of tape. Now, obviously, we've seen Mac Jones sooner since he played for Alabama last year. But as far as experience goes, people are talking about Mac Jones like he was a sure thing to go to San Francisco. So what's the difference? I also like to, you know, watch, and Trey Lance pops off the screen. He has this element to him of a big play guy. He is a big guy. He is obviously athletic. You can see it. You can see his body type. I'm not a huge Mac Jones fan, mostly because all last year, everyone could only talk about Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Zach Wilson popped at the end of the season, right. But Mac Jones was the 2nd or 3rd round pick. Now, all of a sudden, he's jumped everybody, including Justin Fields. So, yeah, if I'm a GM, right, of course I'm more interested in the potential of Trey Lance. He's obviously a very raw talent, but no more raw than Mac Jones, other than he just hasn't played as recently as Mac Jones. So I love what I see in Trey Lance. I love the character things that I'm hearing. I love the IQ things that I'm hearing. And if you're talking about someone like San Francisco, because we're assuming Zach Wilson is going to the Jets, and we know Trevor Lawrence is going #1 overall, Trey Lance isn't going to have to play right away because you have Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's the perfect situation for him to go there. I do think it matters where Trey Lance goes. So if I'm Kyle Shanahan and I am used to dealing with guys who are limited athletically or fragile physically, Trey Lance is somebody that I'm very interested in.
Brandon, do you think that it's fair to question Trey Lance's opponents? Like, I could see somebody, because I love Trey Lance, future Patriot Trey Lance. I hope we trade up and get him.
Right.
But I could see somebody in the war room just like under their breath being like, yeah, he was great against Butler. Like, what? What was that, Brian? What'd you say? He's like, well, Trey Lance played Butler, Delaware, UC Davis, Illinois State. Like, they're just not these powerhouses. And I don't understand the flip side of that argument.
So
is like, yeah, Mac Jones had to play in the SEC, but he also was surrounded with a bunch of pros. So do you think, like, when you were coming out of college, was that I don't know, how did scouts sort of judge who you went up against? And is it a fair criticism or concern to say, like, yeah, Trey Lance, cooked Butler?
Well, first, the only thing, is fair to criticize is Joy drinking the Kool-Aid that Zach Wilson is going number 2 to the Jets. Like, she's in on this thing.
Oh,
Zach Wilson, this isn't done. This isn't a done deal. There's still 9 days or 8 days till the draft, okay? Justin Fields needs to go to the Jets at number 2. So I wanted to say that first. But, Wilds, to your point, to your question, I went to UCF. The University of Central Florida, played against Ball State. I played against Marshall and Central Michigan, Western Michigan, right? And they came in, they said the same things. But good scouts, good organizations know that you got to do your job. You got to believe that the guys that you hired and brought on in the scouting department is going to be able to weed through all the mess, watch the film, go to practice, and see if this guy has it. That's what you need. Put these guys on the board, see if they know football. Because at the end of the day, if you really look at the NFL and you see some of our greatest players, where did they come from? Not everyone. Jerry Rice. Where did Jerry Rice play? Brett Favre. Where did Brett Favre play? So, yes, it's an advantage and it's a plus to be able to be able to, to come from a Power 5 school, but it's about development. Do you know ball? So to your point, Wilds, they should not hold that against them if they know what they're doing. That's lazy scouting. That's what that is. If you go in and say, oh, well, you didn't play against competition. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know football, because there's a lot of greats in sports that come from nothing. So you need to do your job. That's what I would say to those organizations and those scouts. Wilds.
You know that even after the draft, Brandon's going to be like, I still think the Jets are going to take Justin Fields. But let's talk about Trey Lance. I wonder what he thinks about all of this. I mean, we could just ask him. We could ask him Tuesday morning. We could ask him Tuesday morning at 8:30 Eastern.
We got Trey.
North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance joining First Things First to talk about his journey to the first round of the NFL draft. We cannot wait for that. That will be fun.
Let's go.
All right, let's switch some gears now.
Let's go.
Kevin Wilds has some weird and some wonderful. Does it include Mike?